So in this video we are going to do the question answers of class 10 chapter 5, and these are the question answered beside the exercise question answer, that is the question answer which are given after every topic. So let us start. The first is the question answer which are given in the page number 81. The first question, why is diffusion insufficient to meet oxygen requirement in multicellular organisms like human being? So the answer is, since in the multicellular organisms like human being, not all cells are in direct contact with the surrounding to make the exchanges of material possible with the surrounding. Unlike in unicellular organism, like in amoeba, paramecium, the body is in direct contact with the water, and whatever things they require they can simply take from the surrounding. But in the multicellular organism it is not possible. There are cells which are deep seated. There are cells which are found in the that is far away from the external body surface. So how will they get their oxygen requirement? Secondly, the diffusion is a very slow process, and which may not fulfill the high demand of oxygen for the multicellular active body like human being. So we cannot simply depend on the diffusion from the surface, and diffusion is actually a property of surface area. So the body's surface area is far less, so this will not be sufficient for diffusion. Third, the outermost layer of our bodies or multicellular organisms are made up of dead cells, and the dead cells will not support exchange by diffusion. So these are the three reasons. Now depending on the weightage of the question you can give the answer, first, second and third point. If 1 mark question, first point is enough. Say 2 mark question, first and second point, and 3 mark question you can write all 3 points. Question number 2, what criteria do we use to decide whether something is alive? So there are several properties which are shown by the living beings. These are help us to decide whether something is alive. These properties are, first, movement and locomotion, second, response to stimuli, third, growth, fourth, respiration, fifth, nutrition, sixth, excretion, and seventh is even reproduction. Now of course for reproduction, excretion, nutrition you will have to wait, growth even. So the first and second properties are the most appropriate. Movement and locomotion, which can be easily noticeable in case of animals, or however for the plants it will be difficult. And response to stimuli, where you can throw some stone on the living, or just make some noise, or flash torchlight on their face. So these will help you to show some type of responses, and this will help you to decide whether something is alive. Question number 3, what are the outside raw material used by the living organisms? So now again the raw material required by the different organisms differ. Like for the plants it is different. For plants, oxygen for respiration, carbon dioxide for photosynthesis, macro and micronutrient for photosynthesis to make the new molecules. In animals it is oxygen and food. Now plants even require light, but light is not raw material. So since material is asked, we are used only 4 things. Okay, question number 4, what process would you consider essential for maintaining life? So there are 4 processes which are called maintenance process: nutrition, respiration, transport and excretion. So these are the 4 things which are just required to maintain the life. They are not these materials or these processes are not for reproduction or for growth and development. They are maintaining the life. Whatever life we have got, whatever body we have got, these will be just maintaining it. Okay, next is questions given on page number 87. What are the difference between autotrophic mode of nutrition and heterotrophic mode of nutrition? So there are several differences. Let us tabulate them. So the table, this way we will make a table. Point of difference, autotrophic and heterotrophic. The first point, mode of nutrition. Autotrophic, they can prepare food on their own. Heterotrophic, they depend on other organisms for their food requirement. Second, types of nutrition: autotrophic, phototropic and chemotropic. There are 2 ways, whereas heterotrophic, holozoic, saprozoic and parasitic. Point number 3, nutrition used or nutrient used. So the autotroph, that is the plant use macro and micronutrients like NPK, Ca, magnesium, sulfur, sodium, zinc and all. These you are studied in class 9th. Heterotrophs require prepared food nutrients like carbohydrate, protein, fat, vitamins, minerals, etc. And point number 4, production of organic molecules. So only autotrophs have an ability to produce organic molecules, whereas the heterotrophs are depending on autotrophs for their organic molecules. So these are the 4 differences. in the same order you have to write. If you are 1 point asked, 2 points asked, 3 points are asked, or 4 points asked. Okay, question number 2 on page 87. Where do plants get each of their raw material required for photosynthesis? So raw materials like carbon dioxide they will get from the atmosphere. Okay, now this carbon dioxide is used for reduction of reduction into glucose. Carbon dioxide they get from air and the land plants and dissolve in water for the aquatic plants. Water is the source of hydrogen which is used for reduction of carbon dioxide, and the third is light. Of course light is not raw material, but then we are just writing it. Question number 3. What is the role of acid in our stomach? So acid have several roles. First, it converts the medium of food to acidic, which is required for the gastric enzyme to work. Point number 2, it is B, not A. B activates inactive protein digesting enzymes to active, and third kills the germs, and fourth supports the digestion. Like if you put some food in hydrochloric acid and if you put some food in water, so water will take more time to dissolve, but acid dissolve it fast, and as it dissolves the digestion will be faster for enzyme to work. Question number 4. What is the function of digestive enzymes? So digestive enzymes, rather we shall know about enzymes. So enzymes are biocatalyst and they enhances the process of digestion. ठीक है, बायोकैटलिस्ट और अदर हम कह सकते हैं, और कैटलिस्ट आर दो सब्सटेंसेज विच कैन अल्टर द रेट ऑफ रिएक्शन, आइदर दे इंक्रीज द रेट ऑफ रिएक्शन और डिक्रीज द रेट ऑफ रिएक्शन. द डाइजेस्टिव एंजाइम्स आर एक्चुअली increasing the rate of reaction. So two enzymes which are given in the stomach, they are pepsin and lipase. Pepsin convert the protein into peptones and peptides, and lipase can digest fats and lipids into fatty acids and glycerol. Question number 5. How is small intestine designed to absorb digested food? So small intestine has got large number of finger-like folds called villi. ठीक है, तो designed digested nutrients are absorbed by a process called diffusion. Diffusion is a function of surface area, means large surface area, larger the diffusion. So for increasing the surface area in the large number of finger-like projections are developed in small intestine called villi, and these villi are supported by a rich network of the blood capillaries, so that digested nutrients are directly absorbed by the villi and thrown into or put into blood. So this is how absorption is efficiently performed. Question number 1 on page number 91. What advantage over aquatic organism does terrestrial organism have with regard to obtaining oxygen for respiration? Okay, that's a good question. Aquatic organisms obtain oxygen which is dissolved in the water by the gills, and water has less amount of oxygen, that is only 3%, up to 3%. Like if the temperature increases, it may further go down. Hence these organisms have to breathe faster in order to fulfill their oxygen need, whereas the terrestrial organisms, they are obtaining their oxygen from the air, and air has got 20.8, that is nearly 21, that is 7 times more oxygen. Hence their breathing will supply more oxygen, hence they have to breathe quite slowly in compared to the aquatic organisms. Question number 2. What are the different ways in which glucose is oxidized to provide energy for various organisms? So we know there are 3 ways. And what are the 3 ways? That is the fermentation, aerobic respiration, and anaerobic respiration due to the improper supply of oxygen. So glucose, the raw material. First, the glucose will undergo glycolysis, and it produces 2 molecules of pyruvic acids. So 2 pyruvates are there. Then there are 3 pathways. First, without oxygen, that is fermentation, and this 2 molecules of alcohol and 2 molecules of carbon dioxide and 2 molecules of ATP are produced. Second is aerobic respiration, in which the 6 molecules of oxygen are used and 6 carbon dioxide and 6 water, and 36 ATPs are produced. And third is due to the improper oxygen supply, that is without oxygen. In this case, 2 molecules of lactic acid and 2 molecules of ATPs are produced. Okay, so the name is, first one is pyruvic acid, first one is fermentation, second is aerobic respiration, and third is anaerobic respiration due to insufficient supply of oxygen in muscles. Okay, question number 3. How is oxygen and carbon dioxide transported in human being? Okay, oxygen is transported mainly by hemoglobin present in RBC, and this oxygen combines with hemoglobin to produce oxyhemoglobin. A small portion of oxygen is also transported by plasma in dissolved state. Let us talk about carbon dioxide. So in this way, oxygen is transported in the blood to all the tissues. Carbon dioxide is transported in some amount by hemoglobin in the form of carb-aminohemoglobin. Remember, it is carb-aminohemoglobin, not carboxyhemoglobin. And a small portion of carbon dioxide is also dissolved in the plasma and transported. Question number 4. How are lungs designed in human beings to maximize the area of exchange of gases? So alveoli, lungs contain thousands of tiny alveoli. Each of these alveoli has large surface area, hence the sum of the total area of both the lungs is reaching up to 100 square meter. Each of these alveoli are surrounded by hundreds of tiny blood capillaries. So exchanges are made between the alveolar air and the blood of the blood capillaries. Okay, now page number 96, question number 1. What are the components of transport system in human being? So there are 4 components. Taken transport system in human being consisting of 2 systems, namely blood circulatory system and lymphatic system. Okay, the blood circulatory system is consisting of heart, which is acting as a pump. Second, blood vessels, which is acting as the blood which transport the blood, and third is blood, which is the medium of transport. Okay, and the lymphatic system have lymphatic vessels and lymph. Question number 2. What are the function of these components, that is the blood transport systems? Okay, so first is heart, which is acting as a pump, so it exerts a pressure for the flow of blood in the blood vessels to take the blood to all over the body. Second is blood vessels, which makes the arterial and venous blood vessels, and the blood flows in these blood vessels and reach to all the parts of the body for transport of material. And third is blood, which is the medium to transport the various types of substances like oxygen, carbon dioxide, nutrients, waste material, hormones, heat, antibodies, etc., etc. Okay, question number 3. Why it is necessary to separate oxygenated and deoxygenated blood in mammals and birds? Okay, mammals and birds are very active animals, taken, so they require high supply of oxygen, taken. So each and every part of the body get their oxygen by the oxygenated blood, which is transported by the arteries, and carbon dioxide is removed by the veins, so which is flowing in the veins. Okay, as we know, mammals and birds are very highly active organisms, so they require large supply of oxygen, which can be fulfilled by this type of double circulation. Question number 4. What are the components of transport system in highly organized plants? Okay, the transport system of plant is consisting of 2 type of tissues. Again, these are xylem and phloem. Xylem is responsible for transport of water and minerals from the soil to the various parts of the body, whereas phloem is responsible for transport of prepared food from the part of synthesis like leaves to all the parts where it is required. Okay. Fifth question. How are water and minerals transported in plants? Okay, water and minerals are dissolved in the water and the minerals dissolved in water are taken by the xylem to all the parts of the plant by 2 principles. First, by diffusion, which is a very slow process, which may not sufficient. Okay, however, it is very slow and insufficient to transport water and minerals to all the plants, especially taller plants. Second is transpiration suction theory. Now, according to this theory, during daytime when the stomata opens, beside gases some amount of water vapor is also lost. So this is called transpiration. Okay, this loss of water is maintained by the water from the neighboring cells, and ultimately water drawn from the xylem, and xylem is getting this water from the soil, and this is how water will reach to each and every part of the plant body. Okay, so this is how low water pressure is developed in the xylem, and in order to maintain the water pressure, a suction pressure is created, which helps in sucking the water from the soil and transporting it to the various parts. Okay, चलिए next question number 6. How is food transported plant? The food is transported by phloem, okay, and food is prepared by the green leaves and other parts of the plants, okay. Food is converted into sucrose, which is dissolved in the water, okay, and food is then transported to the region of from the region of higher concentration, that is the leaves, to the lower region of lower concentration, that is all other parts of the body, okay. Movement of food also supported by gravity if it is moving from top to down. Food also required to be transported from the storage organ to other parts of the body, and for this energy required because it is going uphill against the gravity. Also energy required to store the food in the storage organs which already have some amount of food in it. Questions of page number 98. Describe the structure and function of nephron. The functional unit of kidney is called nephron, and both the kidney has about 1 to 1.2 million nephron. A nephron is a tubular structure which has three important parts, where that is Bowman's capsule, neck, PCT and Henle's loop, and DCT and collecting duct. Okay. Bowman's cup, it is a filtration unit where when the blood comes with the high pressure in the thin capillaries, lot of fluid is filtered out along with the dissolved substances in it. Not all these things which are filtered out from this Bowman's capsule are waste. Hence all the important substances like nutrients, hormones, water, etc. have to be reabsorbed, and this reabsorption is done in the pec, neck and PCT. Henle's loop is the site of osmoregulation where water and minerals are absorbed. And in DCT, that is distal convoluted tubule, water is reabsorbed depending on the requirement of water in the body under the influence of ADH. So when the water is less, more ADH is secreted, more and more water is reabsorbed from the DCT. When body has enough of water, the ADH is not secreted and no water is reabsorbed and allowed to go out in the waste. The remaining filter will be collected by the uterus, flows through the uterus and reaches to the urinary bladder. Question number 2. What are the methods used by the plant to get rid of excretory products? So now the plant has got no direct effective excretory system, but it has several ways by which it can get rid of waste material. So here is the list. Through stomata, oxygen, carbon dioxide and excess of water can be given out. Stored in stomata, not stomata, it is vacuoles. Sorry, this is a mistake here. Stored in vacuoles, most of the metabolic waste. Next is in old leaves, most of metabolic waste. In old xylem tracheids, oils, resins and gums, and through cuts and the wounds in gums and resins. Then certain salts which can be seen on the leaves, okay? And certain salt are even given out in the soil, and certain organic acid, this can be given from organic acid which can be stored in their fruits, okay? And the best example is citrus fruit. So let me cut this and write here vacuoles. Okay, so that's all. Next question. How is the amount of urine produced regulated? The amount of urine regulated on the basis of how much water is there in the body. So this is actually controlled by the hormone ADH. Okay? So there are two places where excess of water is reabsorbed. First is Henle's loop and second is distal convoluted tubule. Henle's loop is actually maintaining it by the osmotic differences, but in distal convoluted tubule it is controlled by hormone ADH. Okay, ADH is secreted when there is less amount of water in the body. So more and more ADH is secreted, which help in more and more water to be reabsorbed. When there is enough of water, ADH is not secreted and no water is reabsorbed in this point. Okay, so that's all in this video. We have done all the questions from the in between chapter. Thank you children, thank you for watching. If you like, you can give me a thumbs up. If you want, you can share it with the others, and if you want to see further videos, subscribe the channel. Thank you.